It says plug and power any USB device, so it's meant to charge things like your GPS, your phone, your camera, or your tablet. So that's the concept behind it: lightweight and durable, and a wall outlet charging speed, despite the fact that it's a solar charger. So let's just open this up. Now I have cut it open earlier just to make it an easier process, but as you can see, here's the actual charger. Get the box out of the way for a moment. So that's what that looks like. Hook and loop closure. Opens up like so. Here's some instructions. Let's just check out. Here we go. On the back in this little zipper section, open this up, and in it we have, here's your USB input down here, and nothing on that side, right? And so here's your little micro USB cord, so you can put this in here like so, and then plug this into a variety of different devices. Silica gel, don't eat that. Here's a little carabiner, and then in here we have, looks like the actual battery. Yep, so that's what's going to happen. So this is going to take this off and take this off. So you're learning right along with me how this whole thing's going to work. And this is going to set up in here like this, and then this is going to go in here like this, I would assume. Yep. And then we got this little carabiner if you want to attach it to some gear. And I'm going to read quickly through the start guide, this little thing here, with the camera off, just so I don't have to read all the instructions to you. And then we'll talk through how it actually works, and then we'll show you what it looks like in use. Okay, so I read through the instructions. Actually pretty cool here. So you have the USB, let me unplug this here. This USB unit is connected directly to the panels, which are here and then on the underside here. So what you have here is, if I took this whole thing out, placed it in the sunlight, the power would go into the panel and then go in through here and then charge this little battery unit. And so, you know, basically you could take this out, now you could charge something up. You can also just, the sun that would go into here will go in through here, and then, you know, plug it into whatever you want to charge. Or, you know, if you like plug your iPhone charger in here and then into your iPhone, it'll charge it directly. So basically two options within this: power this up and charge, or charge directly using the sunlight. So that's the specs, that's the basic rundown. Let's test it out. Here I am outside. I've actually opened up the Sunjack portable charging unit. I'm putting it on the front of my car, and we'll leave it here and we'll charge up the battery in there, and then we'll see how long it takes to charge up my iPhone. A little bit overcast right now. The sun's been kind of in and out from the clouds, so maybe taking a little bit longer than normal, but we'll see how this thing works. So what I'm doing now is actually looking out the front of my house up at the sky. You can see very cloudy, and it's been this way for most of the day. And now what I want to do is actually look down at the Sunjack charger and show you that after about 5 hours we're at about 50% charge on the battery. So one thing to note is that you really want to have, you know, full sunlight as best as you can to do this, but I wanted to test it out and see, you know, if you had less than ideal weather and a lot of clouds, could you still get some charge on it? And as I'll show you, we got to about 50% in about 5 hours of charging. So here's a look at the charging unit. It is about 50% charged. Let me just show that to you. See, it goes up to about 50%, and then that'll disappear in a second. So once again, 5 hours, about 50% when you are in quite cloudy conditions. So, you know, I wouldn't say it's like the sky isn't going to open up. We're not going to get a full storm here, but we do have you know, pretty hazy skies, pretty cloudy skies. Next thing I'll show you real quick here is looking at my phone, and you can see there, let me get it focused. Yep, 3% battery. So now we're going to charge, see how long it takes to charge my phone up. I'm in my kitchen now, and here's the Sunjack battery source. You can see it goes around, it's plugged into my iPhone. It's been charging for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes now. And we are already up to, let's see, 6% from 3%. So I plugged it in at 6:46. So in about 2 minutes, it's gone up 3% there. So we'll see how long it takes to get to either a full charge or as full as it can get by the time the Sunjack power source runs out. Here's my report in from the charge thus far. So I was at 50% according to the little lights that light up on the LED display here. And at 50% here on the power source from the Sunjack, I got up to about 41%. It's down to 40 now, but I was at 41% charge from 3. So I went from 3% up to 41% off about a 50% charge. Now, My guess is the way it works is that, if it's at 25%, it's going to light up. If it's at 27%, it's still going to say lit at 25 until it actually hits that 50% mark, and then 50 up to the 75% mark. So my sense is that it was probably really close to 50%. It wasn't at like 72%, but not yet at the 75. It was probably right about half charged. And based on that 50% charge, I got 40% onto my iPhone. Now, again, I'm doing this in less than ideal situations. It was out in the sun for a while, but then after that, it was in definitely cloudy weather for a good portion of the day. I would say 5 hours total, and you still are able to get a charge. So if you're out in the woods and your iPhone dies, your smartphone dies, and you're like, hey, I got this charger, is it going to actually work? It will still seem to charge up a while, or give you more power. It's not going to give you the same amount of power as if you have bright sunlight, obviously, but you still can get enough power to amp up your phone and get it ready to go if you need to use the GPS or make a phone call, shoot video, whatever the case might be. I've set up my solar charger in the bright sun. We'll see how long it takes to get that full charge. It's actually at 0 right now, so we'll see how long it takes to get to 100%, and then we'll use it to charge up my iPhone again. Okay, so we're back in the studio, and let me report in here. I put the Sunjack solar charger out into the bright sun for about an hour and a half. At one point, the shade did kind of creep over it for probably about 10 minutes or so, so I had to, shift it and get it back into the open sun. In about an hour and a half, it charged the battery pack to a little bit more than, I think, 50%. It's up to the 50% marker. I don't know how close it is to the 75% marker. I gotta say I was a little bit surprised it didn't charge more in the bright sun that I had it in, but I will also say it charged 50%, and maybe up close toward that 75%. It's hard to tell when it's in between those two markers. But now I have the opportunity to charge something with this, like a phone, GPS, etc. There are a lot of those little small battery packs. Some of them are cubed, some of them are flat, like a credit card, maybe 2 or 3 credit cards thick. But if they're not charged, or you run out of charge on that, you have to find a way to recharge it before you can charge your phone or your GPS or your Kindle, whatever the case may be. With this in a pack, with this in a car, as long as you got sunlight, and even decent sunlight, the first time I showed you it wasn't bright sunlight, you can get a charge, and you can charge up your stuff. And especially if you're in an emergency situation, what do you need for your phone? You need to charge it up enough to make a phone call. So you could certainly do that with the Sunjack solar charger quite easily. So, if you're looking into a solar charger or something like that, and you want something small and compact, again, 7 watts, so not a huge amount of power. There's the 14 watt option as well, made by Sunjack. This is a cool little item. I wish that, bottom line, I wish it would charge faster, and but there's nothing as far as the construction. I don't know enough about the details of this type of technology, what to say about that, other than I wish it charged faster, but it still does work. So I encourage you to check it out. The link is down there on Amazon. And yeah, if you think it could be something helpful to you, add it to a bug out bag, add it to a pack, and let us know what you think about it. Thanks as always for checking out the videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids on YouTube if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram and Tumblr as well. Take care.